I greet my viewers with a liberal message of scientific cognizance. Part of me, I'm an Ageist, as my politological commentaries, sometimes become the staple mark of American liberal movement. I'm part of that liberal movement. As a liberal, I must mention that some Americans should actually open their eyes to see the reality around them and not engage in some kind of narcissistic delusions or experience feelings of chauvinism, nationalism, because this is wrong. If President Obama says that we live in an economy which is subject of envy of all countries, he's right, he's not delusional about it. Sometimes we do envy Americans in the economy. But upon close regard, America was survives only due to social programs. If there were no social programs, American economy would be a loser, I believe. As actually there is some rent control programs that make America great. Without rent control programs, most Americans wouldn't be able to afford themselves a housing. And I believe that establishing living minimum wage of $10 an hour is a requirement of modern times. Otherwise, there would be no business available, as well as programs for rent control, Section 8 housing, available only after 3 years of waiting on waiting list. And sometimes they offer substandard housing, and they offer small apartments when when actually supposed to be, and that actually stymies economic development very much in America. Me, I personally believe that if President Obama thinks that his actually reactionary stances on minimum wage level will help American economy, he's wrong. So I believe that I hope that American President Obama will become a liberal and will actually establish living minimum wage, because those congressmen, they used to have $170,000 of royal wages, actually rip off country, and we don't have any constitutional limits on their staying in U.S. House of Representatives, U.S. Congress, and so these people were building the system for decades, and there was no constitutional limits on their activities. So therefore, it turns out that U.S. Congress is most corrupt, in the history of the world, because most congressmen just greedy, wealthy people who don't care about any business in America or plight of working class people, none whatsoever. They probably think that if they abuse substance, they will see any problem. If they abuse substance, like President Obama used to do, former cocaine abuser, they will lose ability to experience any pleasure whatsoever, because cocaine, heroin, and other hardcore drugs, they just kill dopamine producing neurons and make a person numb nuts. And due to marijuana, well, in California, they corrupt congressmen allowed narcolepsers to sell dope for $200 an ounce of marijuana. They actually, I believe, federal government, DEA, and Drug Enforcement Agency should enforce Controlled Substances Act 1974 and should arrest and confiscate all those amounts of marijuana, as marijuana doesn't have any medicinal properties, none whatsoever. It poses a great health risk and causes substantial damage to one's lungs, causing emphysema, to cause psychosis, delusions, hallucinations, loss of visual spatial orientation, hands blindness, so-called. It will cause loss of memory, loss of short-term memory. As I read in my substance abuse book by one of American psychologists, Maestro, and I believe those accounts, as most accounts about marijuana were used, that will get you stoned. It's a dope. It's never become a medicine. It's just illegal dope. And I also believe that Ageist Bias of President Obama, which he recently expressed in one of his speeches in Ohio, Strongville, Ohio. But he was 49, and he was appalled that he was 49 or something. But with nothing wrong at his middle age, it's just a zenith of his life, is maturity of his lifetime. Middle age from 40 to 60 is the most mature time of one's life. If President Obama suffers with ageism, he should treat mental health treatment, he should seek psychotherapy, progressive psychologists at least, I believe. And I encountered also ageist bias in the United States, or bias against people older than 38 years old. Like I've been reading a classified section in Lancaster Antelope Valley Press. It says that they wouldn't hire or train people older than 30 years old. Free for employers, advertisers declared that in their ads to become a construction worker. So I believe that this is violation of United States Civil Rights Act that prohibits illegal discrimination by age. And the Department of Justice doesn't do anything to enforce Civil Rights Act, none whatsoever. And neo-fascists were taking advantage of this inaction of inept corruption of Justice Department. In terms that it refuses to enforce Civil Rights Act and punish sexist, racist, and ageist with jail times, with indictments. Actually, I believe that federal government should enforce federal laws and indict civil rights offenders who illegally discriminate against people of race, sex, national origin, or age by law. For instance, FBI violates civil rights of American citizens to become employed by FBI because it prohibits people older than 36 years old to become FBI agent, because we want to only hire people officially younger than 36 years old. And I believe this is a gross violation in the United States Civil Rights Act, which prohibits illegal discrimination on basis of age. And many valuable American cadres actually would lose their opportunity to be employed by the federal government, by the FBI, because they are older than 36 years old. And actually, and I believe that American public should do anything possible to overcome the ageist bias, because this is a violation of civil rights. And I believe that the public should make a note and to take some actions to sue those civil rights offenders, to indict them. Federal justice should indict those federal rights offenders, so that know that ageism is against the law.